Hello there everyone, and welcome to the Fresh Bloom Layering Guide video. So first up, I'm going to stamp the large outline image that we have in the stamp set. I'm using some obsidian ink for this, but you could use whichever black ink that you have. I'm then going to take the base layer for this beautiful bloom that we have here, and I'm just going to place it into position in the outline. Now it's going to line up along the top part of that image, and once I have that nicely in place, I'm going to ink that up using some of the Mountain Mist ink, and then I'm just going to line that back up into position along the top edge and then stamp that down. Next up, I'm going to use the next layer, so the second layer, and I'm going to line this up along the bottom edge. So you can see where the petals fold over. This is going to add a darker shadow to those pieces there. So for this layer, I am going to be using the Volcano Lake. So I'm going to ink that up using the Volcano Lake ink and then pop that back into position, lining up the bottom edge and then just making sure that all the top pieces go within that outline as well. I'm then going to take the third layer for this one, and this is going to add in some more darker shading just along the bottom edges, and you can see that there's a couple of points, one to the side and one to the other side, just where this is going to add the darker shading for there. For this one, I am going to be using the Lagoon ink, again lining up that bottom edge first and then kind of shifting the stamp until it pops into position. I'm then going to move on to the last petal layer. So this is the one that's going to add in those really dark spots to give it a really great definition and depth to the image. So I have my image and I'm just going to pop this into place, and it's going to add more of the darker places where it would be darkest. So where the petals overlap each other and kind of in the folds of the image here. So for this one, I am going to be using the Emerald ink. So I'm going to ink that up and then stamp that one into place. Once that's done, I can then move on to the flower center. Now for the base of the flower center, I'm going to be using the Sunray. So this is the one with the most stampable area for the center, and it's just going to pop into place in the center within the outline image. And then going to move on to the second layer. Again, this is going to fit in within that outline. So it's going to just add a more of a shading to that center stamen that we have there. For this layer, I am using the Chamomile ink. So I'm just going to twist that until it's nicely in place to add that beautiful stamen in there. We also have a third layer, and again, this is just going to add more detail to that center. Again, I'm just going to kind of position it within that outline, and this is just going to add some really great shadow, and that one was the Snapdragon ink. I can then move on to the leaf as the flower is now complete. I've stamped the outline using some obsidian. I'm then going to take the first layer, and this is going to be the one that has the lightest ink on it. So I am going to use the frayed leaf for this one, and this is just going to line up along the bottom part of the leaf, as you can see there. Just stamp that down. For the second layer, this is going to add in the other leaves that weren't stamped in the first layer, and then add a little bit more of a shadow to the ones that have been. So this one, I'm going to be using the Forest Glades for this one. Again, just lining that up within the outline with those leaves that we have. I'm then going to take the third and final layer, and this is going to add a darker point to all of the base layers of the leaves. So for this one, I'm going to be using the Evergreen ink, and I'm just going to pop that into place just at the center of those leaves there. So that is everything complete. We really do hope this video helps, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.